Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Argo Sports Insider. I'm your host, Will Kennedy, and every time here on the program, we like to shine the light on the athletic programs here at the University of West Florida as we talk about our coaches, our staff, and of course, our fantastic student athletes. On this episode, we are starting off on the baseball field. The University of West Florida baseball team is off to a great start this season, coming off a series win over Alabama Huntsville their last time out in the previous weekend. We had a chance to catch up with Coach Mike Jeffcoat and True Fontenot to talk about the Argos' early season success. Coach, you guys are coming off a nice series win over the weekend at Alabama Huntsville in a series that was supposed to be in Alabama, ended up here because of weather, but always nice to get that W.
Yeah, it was great. Sunday victory. Always love winning on Sunday to clinch the series. Weather was great, 70, 75 degrees, much different than, as you can see, we're dressed today with rain and some cold weather blowing in. Thankful for Members First Credit Union hitting facility here that lets us in softball, be able to still continue to get our work in. But it's always good coming off a winning note, but we still have some teaching points and things obviously we want to keep getting better with.
As you guys get Mississippi College coming in, you mentioned there, trying to find their feet a little bit. What about for your team? What do you look to do? Obviously win the series, but what are you working on to prepare for them, for Choctaw?
We continue to work on what we always do, especially in this game when you get pitched away and you get breaking balls. A lot of times you're working on hitting the other way. You're working at the weakness, which is using the whole field. For most hitters, hitting the opposite field is a tougher thing to do. Hitting in general is tough, so we got to continue to do better situational hitting. Our defense has gotten a lot better. We're still trying to bring along some pitchers out of the bullpen that have to get a little more consistent for us so we can build that depth and not have to continue using the same arms.
Who's swinging the bat well right now?
Well, like I said, the middle of the order yesterday or Sunday really came on strong for us. Colin O'Shea, Dylan Manhennett, Justin Dunham. Like I said, Jason Roberts had a great day at the plate. Been very consistent. True Fontenot, since we moved into the top of the order, has been great for us. Been moving a lot of guys around. A lot of guys don't have a lot to show. Sam Harris and Hancock have done a lot of great things bunting and moving runners and coming through big in the small game we've needed it. So, it's been a lot of help. The catching situation, the guys have been platooning back there doing a good job. When you have 2 9-inning games, man, that's a long day. So we got to share the load.
Coach, good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about kind of the season so far. Still very early. Your assessment on where you are and where the team is right now.
I think we're in a good place right now. We're hot. Our bats are nice. So we're starting to learn how to compete as a team. We've always known how to do it, but we're starting to implement it into our game, and it looks bright to me.
This has been such an unusual stretch, going back to a year ago to now with COVID and all the different things that have happened. You guys, obviously, baseball teams come together. There's a chemistry and camaraderie. What's it been like for this group?
Us being back, like the players from last year staying another year, that's incredible. Our chemistry is crazy. It's through the roof this year. We got some new players for sure, but they filled in really nice. Another year together is. The longer you're with someone, the more you're comfortable with them, and we're all comfortable with each other. That's the fun part about it.
What's it going to take to get a sweep series win with Mississippi College coming in?
Pitching and hitting. It is in baseball. We got to compete and play, like you said, the little things in baseball, and we can execute them. We got a chance.
Coach Jeffcoat and the Argos are at home coming up this weekend as we're taping the show on the 5th and the 6th of March. They will be hosting Mississippi College. They'll have a weekday game, kind of rare for us with all the weather problems we've had. Spring Hill comes in on the 9th for a single game, and then on the road at Auburn Montgomery for the first away series in quite a while coming up. And of course, we'll check in on the Argos the next time we bring you another edition of Argo Sports Insider. Coming up next here on the program, it's time to talk softball. We'll get in with Coach Ashley McLean and Mika Garcia next on Argo Sports Insider.
The Florida Lottery is proud to support education by contributing billions of dollars to Florida schools and awarding countless Bright Future scholarships so Florida students can do more than just dream of a brighter future. They can create one. Learn more at flalottery.com.
What does Argo Spirit look like? Is it finding the perfect Argo outfit to show your team pride? Is it giving back while getting your pre-game grub? Or is it connecting with your community in the perfect spot? At Penn Air Federal Credit Union, it's being a proud sponsor of UWF Education, the Alumni Association, athletics, Penn Air Field, and having a spirit of communerosity. Learn more at pennair.org/aboutus.
This portion of Argo Sports Insider is brought to you by Penn Air Federal Credit Union, Jenny King, Hill Kelly Dodge, High Point Hotel Group, and the Florida Lottery.
Welcome back into Argo Sports Insider. As we talked about baseball off to a good start, softball had also been kind of cruising along, playing a lot of home series here on the campus of the University of West Florida down at the Fork. A little bit of a weather snafu brought Alabama Huntsville down from North Alabama to play a series here that should have been on the road. It was a tough one for the Argos and Coach Ashley McLean as they ended up dropping 2 of the 3 games. We had a chance to get in the cages on a cold early March day and talk with Coach and shortstop Mika Garcia. Coach, you guys have played a lot of games since we talked to you last. A series with West Alabama, midweek with Spring Hill, and then you had a tough series with Alabama Huntsville. A lot of games and a lot of time. Does that work early in the season?
It does, and ultimately we didn't do bad in that 8-game streak. We learned a lot against Huntsville, and we're going to get back at it this week and get ready for MC.
What do you learn? I mean, what do you kind of take out of a series like that was a tough series? And I know, as a coach and as a team, frustrating to lose the last game, especially the way you did.
What we took from that is, we have to work on our mindset and how to handle things under pressure. We're a really good team that can come from behind, and we showed that already this year. And now we're just working on keeping our high leads that we have and not getting content, staying hungry throughout the entire game.
Talk about your pitching a little bit. I mean, it can be frustrating at times for the pitchers to be out there when the wheels kind of start getting a little bit loose. But overall, how are they doing as a staff early in the year?
I think they're doing great. I think Montana had a great weekend. She had 22 strikeouts and no walks against Huntsville, which is a very solid outing for a freshman pitcher. And, G had a great day Saturday, and then even coming in Sunday, she came in and did her job. Sometimes this game's all about failure. So as long as we can just rebound and get back after it, we'll be just fine.
Good swing's a good swing, right? And even if they catch it sometimes. You got Mississippi College coming in, home because of weather and other things moving it around. So you don't have to travel, which can be a good thing. What do you expect from Mississippi College?
They're going to be scrappy. They're not having the season they usually have, and but it's not a team to take lightly. They're always in the top 3-4 of our conference, and maybe they just haven't found their click yet. And we definitely don't want to be the team where they find the click. So we got to take every inning by every pitch and just go after them.
You guys know you're getting everybody's best shot right in the GSC. They're coming down here trying to knock you off.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is, and we like that. We like that people are giving us our best game because it shows what we really have.
Good luck this weekend, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, you guys have played a ton of games in a 2-week window, West Al, Spring Hill, and then a series that was supposed to be on the road that ended up here. Haven't had to leave the friendly confines. Where is this team right now? As somebody who's been around a little while, how do you assess early season performance?
I look at it, it's still early. We obviously just came off a series that we wanted really bad, but there's no reason to panic. I mean, it's still early. We have work to do, things to learn from. So I'm still really excited for this team. This is one of the best teams I've been on my 4 years here. So I'm excited to see what we can do the next game.
For you, you've got your bat kind of going a little bit. What's been the difference for you? How have you kind of turned that on?
Confidence. Going up there, just I'm going to hit the ball hard. Don't try to think too much. I've had a history of thinking too much, get on the mental side, but go up there. I know my teammates have trust in me, my coaches have trust in me, so there's no reason that I shouldn't. So go up there and be confident about it.
What needs to happen for a bounce back, big bounce back against Mississippi College this weekend?
Have fun. Let loose. We do our best when we're positive, upbeat, have a lot of energy. So not to think too much about this past weekend, just watch it and do what we have to do to stay positive and have a lot of fun, but have a lot of fun with it.
So the Argos are 9-5 after that loss in a series to Alabama Huntsville. They will be at home with Mississippi College coming up here on the 5th and the 6th of March. They will go to Spring Hill to play a doubleheader, kind of going back and forth with their rivals just across the state line on the 9th. It is on the road at Auburn-Montgomery the 12th and 13th of March, and then a doubleheader with Columbus State coming our way on the 17th. Coming up next here on the program, women's basketball got into the GSC Conference Tournament, had a tough opponent in the first round in Union. We'll check in with Coach Stephanie Lawrence-Yelton and the Argos coming up next.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
With a common purpose,
a shared vision,
and a unified goal. What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
For those who measure success by the worn tread on their tires, and those who strengthen their body and mind and drift through their weekends over nature's current. Andrews Institute, for those who move.
Welcome back into Argo Sports Insider. Joining us now is Coach Stephanie Lawrence-Yelton. Time to talk some women's basketball. You guys, you had a late night getting back as we're taping this from making a trip up to Union in the Gulf South Conference tournament. Unfortunately, a tough loss against a very tough basketball team. And you and I were talking before we started recording. I mean, just talk about a stacked deck against you. As we talked, we didn't have a chance to talk since the last show. Danielle Norquist suffers a knee injury that kind of knocks her out of competition. You had girls with some kind of stomach bug and it just, unable to practice, unable to play your final series against Valdosta, and then you got to jump in against Union.
Yeah, certainly a taxing week to finish the season out. Losing your leading scorer and rebounding and first team all-conference player to a knee injury is certainly just a gut punch as your team is starting to build momentum. And then, of course, as soon as we finish the series against AUM, we have 8 kids that go out with some kind of mysterious but brutal stomach flu bug that really put us out of commission for about 5 to 6 days. We had kids that were extremely sick for 4 or 5 days in a row. So unfortunately, we had to cancel that Valdosta series and try to get healthy moving into the GSC tournament. So certainly this, it was stacked against us going into Union, who was the #1 seed on that west side. But I'm proud of our players for battling through that week. It was a tough week. And then getting on the road and making that 8-hour trip. The game didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but man, the fight, the determination we saw in the game just to kind of keep our heads above water was commendable. And I think that's what we walk away from this season looking at is that, man, it's been a tough year from August till today. And to see our team really excel, in a way, we were better than last year, right? The record's better than last year. We had players performing better than last year and really taking a step forward in a year that was just so uncertain and a lot of unknowns and a lot of obstacles and a lot of mountains to climb. But to still have a group of women that were willing to accept that challenge and move forward and work hard to try to meet some goals, it's a win.
Who else stood out for you this season? Obviously, some of those new faces that came in. We talked about Peyton Lewis. We saw development from Charlotte Elmore and some others as well. And I think, that's what you want is to see your players kind of notch their game up.
Yeah, I think from top to bottom, I think we've had a lot of players that have really stepped up and been influential in major wins this season. I thought we had wins that we shouldn't have had this year. And of course, we had a few losses that I, didn't think we should have lost. But in the times that we were winning and really churning things out, a player like Peyton Lewis, who literally missed 28 days as we were preparing for the season due to COVID and contact tracing and those kind of things. I mean, she missed those days in late December. And so to have only 8 or 9 weeks of really good work with her and for her to step in and fill those big scoring shoes that we needed. And then, of course, we've got, as some freshmen that came in and gave us some good minutes. And you can see the promise that's behind there. The one thing I'm excited about is starting postseason. I don't know how well the players are excited about that right now. They're looking for a little rest. I mean, because it has been taxing, but we'll have 2 weeks off here. We'll start postseason workouts, and then we'll really start moving into what is our team going to look like for next season.
Coach, it was fun covering you guys all year, broadcasting the games to our broadcast partners at Cox Sports TV and your view as well. And we're looking forward to, Blake and I will be right back out there on the court in the fall, getting after it again. So congrats on a great season.
Yeah, thank you. And we hope many more wins in our future and moving toward winning more of those championship rings.
Coming up here next on the program, we'll dive into some men's basketball. Talk with Coach Jeff Burkhammer as he wraps up his season with the UWF men's program right here on Argo Sports Insider.
What does Argo Spirit look like? Is it finding the perfect Argo outfit to show your team pride? Is it giving back while getting your pre-game grub? Or is it connecting with your community in the perfect spot? At Penn Air Federal Credit Union, it's being a proud sponsor of UWF Education, the Alumni Association, athletics, Penn Air Field, and having a spirit of communerosity. Learn more at pennair.org/aboutus.
Hey, Argo Nation. Want to show your Argo pride but can't attend the game in person? We've got just the solution you're looking for. Argo fan crowd cutouts are making the move to the Fort and the Spoon for UWF baseball and softball games. Show your Argo spirit and support our student athletes. Want the whole family to join in on the fun? Your pets too? Cutouts are $30 each. If you purchase 3, the 4th is free, and donations go to support UWF athletics.
This portion of Argo Sports Insider is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Baptist Healthcare and the Andrews Institute, Publix, Whataburger, and CPC Office Technologies. Unlike the women's team, the men were just a little bit short of getting into the Gulf South Conference basketball tournament. But overall, it was a positive season for Coach Jeff Burkhammer and company. They finished with a 7-12 record, but that easily could have been flipped around, and we could have seen the Argos playing on into the postseason. We had a chance to sit down with Coach Burkhammer and also with all-conference selection Daniel Sofield to talk about the Argos season. But Coach, hard to believe it, the season's done. We barely ticked into March and already basketball's finished, and you haven't had a whole lot of time since finishing up over the weekend with Valdosta, but kind of, how does it feel at this point to realize that 2020-21 is in the books?
Yeah, it gets done quickly. Those games come at the end and you come and go, but this is where we should be playing our best basketball. We really were playing our best basketball. We supposedly should have 10 games left to kind of wind down, but it's been a different year in a lot of different ways.
I think there was one point when we look back at December and when we first started talking about the season and first diving into the season where there was a question whether or not you'd get to 19 games or get near 20 games. Some teams didn't. What's the ride been like? Because this has been the most unusual of years.
Well, I think we're the team that played the most games in the league. We didn't have a pause all the way through really regular season. We were very fortunate. Guys did a good job of staying away and staying healthy. But it's been a hard year. I think it's been a hard year for players. Mentally, I think it's hard up and down all year with staying in your apartments all day and not going to class and not having the normal interaction. Then you come to practice, you leave, you go right back to your apartments. I think all those things have been difficult. Traveling on the road has been different. You can't go to restaurants, you're eating in a hotel every time. Just a lot of different things, and you add that into playing back-to-backs this year, which was strange, instead of playing Thursday, Saturdays, and playing the same opponents twice. Just a lot of different things that our players had to deal with, and I thought for the most part our guys really handled it well.
Well, Coach, we're already excited thinking about next year. It was a pleasure watching you guys battle all year this year, and we'll say go Argos and bring it back in the fall, right?
Appreciate all your guys' help. Go Argos.
Season's over. I know it's hard to believe at this point. I mean, it went by pretty quick, didn't it? What do you hold from the season? What's kind of the memory that you take out of this one?
I mean, the biggest memory I'm going to hold is just the fact that we even had a season. I think that's just the big thing for everyone that played this year. We were just grateful to even play a game, never mind to play 19. I mean, we only got one game canceled this entire year. I mean, that's during this pandemic, that's a pretty good thing. Enjoyed every second of it, finally being able to play again, step on the court again. I mean, it was just the entire season, no matter what happened with the season, it was just fun to be back out there.
You guys were really close. I mean, the record, I think, kind of belies how good this team was playing at the end of the year. I know it's disappointing not to make the postseason, but there's some positives to take out of this year.
Yeah, like Coach always mentions to us, like their point differential throughout the entire season was like 1-2 possessions. And he harps on that a lot because we came close a lot of games, like 4 or 5 games we were right there. And we just couldn't pull through at the end. But, I mean, that I think we have a lot to look on going forward for next year because we have a good group coming back. I think we have more experience coming back next year. So I think next year we'll be able to get over that hump and hopefully finish these games next year.
Come back hungry next year as a group and look to take that next step and get in the postseason and win a GSC?
Absolutely. That's our main goal every year. So I know everyone that's returning is going to be hungry to get back after it. So I'm excited to get back into it next year.
Congratulations again to Daniel Sofeld, who made the GSC East All-Conference second team. He is joined there by his teammate, Tariq McElphin, who both of those players averaged 15.2 points per game. Tariq, by the way, led the GSC in rebounding at 8.5 rebounds per game. As we mentioned to Coach, we're already looking forward to seeing the Argos back on the court next season and what they can produce for us here at the University of West Florida. Conference championships, we love them here. More than 100 as we're here in the Fieldhouse lobby to go with those 10 national championships. We've added another one. In this case, it's swimming and diving, and we'll talk with Coach Phil Kraus and one of the all-conference swimmers coming up next here on Argo Sports Insider.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
With a common purpose,
a shared vision,
and a unified goal. What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
Realm Apartments is a proud sponsor of the Argonauts. Realm is opening less than a mile from campus and is now leasing brand new apartments and townhouses for a fall 2021 opening. These apartments come fully furnished and rates include water, sewer, cable, Wi-Fi, and trash. Check out realmlife.com for more information. Go Argos!
For those who measure success by the worn tread on their tires, and those who strengthen their body and mind and drift through their weekends over nature's current. Andrews Institute, for those who move.
Welcome back into Argo Sports Insider. Our swimming and diving team here at the University of West Florida just captured their second straight conference championship in the pool last week over in Cleveland, Mississippi. We had a chance to get poolside and talk to swimming coach of the year in the conference, Coach Phil Kraus, and Stephanie Marquardt, one of our swimming and diving standouts. Well, Coach, another conference championship, and I know there's always a level of satisfaction, but with all that you and the program have been through in the last 12 months, it's got to feel extra special.
Yeah, it's really been great just to see the girls, go through everything they've gone through. We've had COVID shut down, a hurricane, we've had pool maintenance issues, we've had the ice storm, we had all those things that have kind of like taken us off our game a little bit, but they've persevered, didn't train as much as we normally would have, not only just in our season, but normally over the summer, they're all training really hard too, and that just didn't happen for a lot of people. So to come back and have some really great times, but also to win the championship is just great to see for the girls.
You got off to a nice lead with diving, which, that's always great to kind of build a little bit of a cushion, but then, you got to get in the pool, compete with some really strong teams. You're able to hang on at the end.
Yes, yeah, diving was great. We put up 6 divers, and that was part of our plan. It was to, get as many points as possible in diving. We don't have a lot of diving in our conference, so, but we also got everybody in the top 8, so that was great cushion, and that made us feel a little bit more relaxed, I think, going in, not as nervous. Which is a different year because normally they're mixed in at the same time, so you don't see that. But then the girls came in, and like I said before, like in some of the articles, in the mornings we were a little bit slower than normal. I think just we didn't get to race that much, so kind of like knocking the dust off, kind of getting out there. But then at night we came back every night and swam faster, and I think some of just more awake, more ready to go, amped up because they're in finals, want to get as many points as possible for the team, and it was just great to see that they really worked hard and actually came through. Probably more than my expectations, which is great.
What happens from here? I mean, the conference is great, and obviously you get to hang that one up on the wall, but you want to get some of these individuals into the NCAA.
That's right. So we have 5 divers that are qualified for what they kind of lovingly call Black Tuesday. They all have to do all their dives on both boards and hopefully be able to make it in. So they're going to take this year the top 16 divers from that to go into the actual point scoring part starting on Wednesday. So we'll see how many of our 5 we can get in there, hopefully all. And then swimmers, we have to wait. We're on Thursday we put in all of our names, and then they tell us on Saturday who gets selected. We're just going to put them in and prepare as best we can, and hopefully on Saturday we'll get 4 or 5 swimmers in too, and then we'll go and start on March 17th, so St. Patrick's Day.
So let's talk about the conference meet first. I mean, how exciting to win back-to-back years, and kind of walk us through what that experience was like.
Yeah, it was really exciting. The whole meet we were fighting really hard to win, and towards the end we were kind of thinking we might be ahead, but we weren't really sure. And the last relay, everybody was just really cheering for everybody, and it was so exciting being able to cheer everybody on and watch everybody swim fast. And then they told us we won, and it was really exciting. Yeah. For you, I know as an individual you want to go out and perform the best you can at conference and if you can get into nationals, but as a team, and you kind of just touched on it, you know, the achievement of winning the conference, I mean, that's for everybody, right? You just kind of said it. Yeah. What's it been like this whole season? It's been so unusual. Yeah, it's really been weird this season, but definitely being a part of the team is the most important thing. Like, you want to do good individually, but when you're together, that's the most important part, and everybody's success is the most important thing, and supporting everybody is just really amazing. Congratulations go out to Kelsey DeJesus, who was the top point diver in the competition, helping that team get off to a great lead in the diving competition. Esther Rossetto and Yael Dinelli, high point swimmers, both with 80 points each. And as we mentioned, Coach Phil Kraus, the swimming coach of the year, and Coach Barbara Parker gets the conference dive coach of the year award as well. Looking forward to the NCAA championships, as Coach Kraus mentioned, coming up on March 17th, and we'll see how many of the swimmers and divers can get qualified for that. We've also got to talk a little bit here about tennis and golf on the program, as the tennis team's off to great starts for both the men and women, both clubs with 5-1 records after going to the ITA Indoor Championships and posting 2-1 marks at that event, finishing 3rd for the men, 5th for the women. They'll be at home for their first home match coming up on the 12th of March. And Berta Bernardi wins Player of the Week in the Gulf South Conference. By the way, that is the 9th time she has done that. Sarah Yigan is Freshman of the Week for her back-to-back honors with that award. And Salvador Bandera, Player of the Week on the men's side as well. A slew of home matches coming up, starting with that one on the 12th. So a good chance to come out to the Ralph Skeeter Carson Tennis Complex and watch both of those fantastic teams play. And we have to give a shout out to our men's and women's golf team, both Coach Steve Fell and Kristen Dorsey. Their program's off to great starts to the season, and some individual honors to hand out. Elias Avisto is the GSC Men's Golfer of the Week after getting a good start to their season. Solange Gomez won a Women's GSC Golfer of the Week, and Maddie Kruger, Women's GSC Freshman of the Week. And it's a home event coming up, and we call it home because it's down in Destin. It'll be the Emerald Coast Collegiate at Baytown down there for the women, coming up on the 14th of March. And the men will, on the 8th of March, will be in the Matlock Collegiate Golf Classic in Lakeland. That has nothing to do with the Andy Griffith Show. It's just a golf tournament. So lots going on here. As we've kind of touched on always, go to goargos.com to check the latest on scheduling, because weather and COVID testing and all that stuff, it moves around quite frequently. The Argo Armada app is another great place to keep up with the latest on all our different sports programs. And you can see schedules and rosters and the latest social media news. And of course, we encourage you to follow all of our programs and Argo Athletics in general on our different social media platforms. We appreciate you being here. We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time right here on Argo Sports Insider.